went into witness protection, but because of the circumstances, they couldn't. They had to let me go. Oh,
they let you go from it? That's crazy, man. I'm still waiting for my. Oh shit. We didn't mean anything we just said. That was supposed to be, confidential. So, sorry about that. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Talking Out Our Ass, episode number 2 of this rebrand.
That's what it is. Those are facts.
Those are fast facts, man. Very quickly done. Oh boy, Stoop, how are you doing today, buddy?
I just couldn't be any better if I tried. I wake up each morning and consider myself, #blessed. It's great. It's great. It's all great. Everything's great. How are you?
I'm just tired.
Well, you went to Disney.
I was in the happiest place on earth, and I was just hot and bothered, but also happy. So it's lukewarm there.
Did you fight anyone on the Small World ride?
We didn't go on the Small World ride as much as I wanted to, so I also didn't get drunk enough to go on it and fight anybody. So I did lay down there.
My instructions were pretty clear, were they not?
They were, and I just didn't follow through. I failed you. That's on me.
I can't be held responsible for what happens to you.
You really can't, and that's just fine. Anyway, you want to start the show?
Okay.
Fine. If you really want to. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a guest, and I'm going to bring him on right now. You may have seen him every Wednesday, or most Wednesdays, doing AEW playback on the Sadistic Penguin Studios playback, watching wrestling and, sweaty men and sweaty women all over each other. It's Comic Punk Guy. CPG,
Hello.
How are you, buddy?
Very good. Working through technical difficulties, but I'm so glad everything's working.
I mean, everything's technically difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, especially on a technical level. The difficulties.
That's true.
The difficulties. They're just so technical these days. Can't stand it.
Oh, I suppose we should, in case nobody saw episode 1, the way this works is that Sam and I have a guest on, like this fine gentleman in front of you. The guest has a topic in mind, but has not told us, and he's going to tell us now what the topic is, and then Sam and I are tasked with creating an interview on something that we had no preparation for and have no knowledge of.
Absolutely no preparation, because we're not experts on anything.
That's right.
So I was basing my decision off of what your guys' little banter intro is going to be, and you guys talked about witness protection. And the back of Stoop's backdrop there is just so dark. We're going dark with this one. We're going to be talking about John Wayne Gacy, baby.
John Wayne Gacy.
John Wayne Gacy lived just a little smidge down the street from where I went to high school.
Oh.
So if you got questions about John Wayne Gacy, I've seen enough true crime documentaries to probably help you out to learn more about this wonderful, wonderful human being who graced our wonderful city with his presence. And did a bunch of really notable shit.
Awesome. Yeah,
he's a very, very famous guy for some cool reasons.
This is one of the serial killers that I know the least about, so this is perfect.
Ooh.
What? So you said down the road from your high school. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to Taft High School.
And what's your social security number?
7.
That's where my mom went to high school.
Oh, he's a vampire. He's been around since the single digits.
My mom, my aunts, my uncle, they all went to Taft too.
Damn, Taft was one of the few schools that we beat the hell out of in football every year.
Well, I don't think they won anything while I was there. I mean, I was barely there when I was there, but
that's true. Me too.
Does it still feel like you're going to school in the 70s there, like my mom did?
When you're in the original building, yeah, they didn't update shit in there.
Nice.
Like it just looks like it, and it smells like the 70s would smell in there, which is like not in a cool way, not like cigarettes and cocaine, like, or whatever. It just smells like
formaldehyde and
just
other
like
chemicals that give you cancer.
I mean, there's still lead paint in there, I'm sure.
For sure. And we're all full of lead and full of lead and microplastics. We are. So how many? I could Google this, but this is what you here for. How many? Did John Wayne Gacy eat people? Is that what happened?
No, John Wayne Gacy did not eat people. He murdered young boys predominantly. I mean, almost actually exclusively, and buried them in the crawl space of his house. If not, he was disposing of their bodies in the river by throwing them over a bridge.
Well, this is a good show. Sam, it's your turn.
So I don't have a question. I do have a statement off the top of this. Was John Wayne Gacy, there was a movie, I think it was the 90s, where I don't remember the actor's name, but he played Francis in Pee-wee, played Gacy. I've never seen the movie, but I've seen the cover a billion times, and he looked very, very similar to him. But then my favorite thing about Gacy is that one black and white photo that they always show with his little tiny mustache and his weird, like, parted hair up here. He is probably the most out of shape serial killer I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, so like his whole deal is that like he was deceptively strong. Like he was able to subdue people who were much younger than him in much better physical shape than he was. He was just like a brick shit house that was going to like have his way with you with his various devices, if not himself, and then he was going to kill you. And it's the one thing that I can't see, I've seen that movie where Francis played him also. I don't remember a whole lot about it because I was really young when I watched it. But he never killed anyone in like clown makeup or anything like that. Like that whole pogo personality thing that he's such like still associated with to this day. Never killed anyone in makeup. Never killed anyone dressed as a clown. Never drove around the clown trying to pick people up or anything like that. The one notable thing about the clown makeup, which is I always thought was really interesting, is that if you go to clown college or you interview people who are like professional clowns, they tell you that when you do the makeup that you're never ever supposed to use sharp edges or like triangular shapes in your makeup because it's threatening to especially like children and younger people, because you want this like rounded kind of like, inviting, I guess is the best way to describe it. And if you look at John Wayne Gacy's makeup, it's almost exclusively triangles and sharp edges.
Yeah, it was. I do remember seeing pictures from some of the documentaries and things like that, how he had like the triangle eyes, and you always he just felt terrified.
Oh,
obviously, like you're saying, they always do like the circle makeup or like the smile on there and stuff. And yeah, his was a little bit aggressive.
So that was you sort of answered what my next question was going to be, which is this the clown guy? Mm-hmm. So I'm confused though, and maybe I'm a bad listener, because you said he didn't do the clown stuff, but now you're saying he did the clown stuff. Where does the clown stuff come from? Where does it fit into the picture here?
So recreationally, and for other like, God, I just butchered that word. But
I was gonna let it slide.
Other like income or whatever, he would dress up as Pogo the Clown. He would go entertain people at kids' birthday parties. He'd do it at his house and stuff during his very public, hey, come over and I'm gonna like grill out and come in and hang out and eat on my dime at my house and stuff. He's very much like a showman, and that's where the Pogo stuff came from. There's a bar here in Chicago. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it was freak. Like he was hired to entertain there as Pogo, and then I want to say not too long after that, or around the same time, Jeffrey Dahmer was a person that would come in there and drink when he had his short stint living here before moving back to Wisconsin.
So the two of them had interaction.
It's possible, probably not. If you look at any of the interviews with John Wayne Gacy and they mentioned Dahmer, he wants nothing to do with him, because to John Wayne Gacy, this disgusting, terrible person, Dahmer was worse than him because he ate people. And that was what drove, like, that's Gacy's breaking point. You can kill people all day long. You can be this absolute monster, but don't eat them.
I feel like Yeah, see, I feel like that makes Dahmer better because at least he's not wasteful. You know,
he was doing experiments.
I mean,
also in the name of whatever science he was cooking up in his head. He just wanted people to watch movies with him. He didn't want him to leave.
Yeah, but it's company. A lot of these guys just need company and a hug. You know.
Well, yeah, and Gacy's
if only somebody
lost all that really early. His childhood wasn't great. His dad, was not great to him, and yeah. I mean, Gacy did plenty of butt stuff himself, Doug, but
we don't judge.
No, absolutely not. I mean, it's bad.
I don't have my robe or my gavel,
it's bad
so
that
I
kill
can't.
people. Do all the butt stuff you want. Just don't kill anybody. If you can get anything from this episode, do butt stuff. Don't kill.
But if you got to kill somebody, at least eat them. I think that's really the.
I mean, they didn't have air fryers back then. You could probably really whip something up real quick now.
That's true. Now is a whole untapped market. Untapped that we know of.
Despite not eating people, there's tons of food in John Wayne Gacy's story. I mean, he was gifted a Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise from his father-in-law from his first marriage, and he was managing that and doing really well, but he just it never made anyone happy enough, and of course he was doing really shitty things and wound up going to jail. And then it's weird. He's a weird dude, but he's a weird dude because everywhere he went he was moderately he was, because his dad was terrible about it, rather than just being yourself there, John. But he when he went into the prison system for the first time, he was like a model prisoner. They were letting him do whatever he wanted. They were gonna and little did they know that when they let him out, that this would continue to escalate to the point where there was 16 something bodies in a crawl space, and and it took forever to kind of really get him arrested and stuff. It's a crazy story.
What was his plan if they were in the crawl space? They can't just stay in the crawl space forever. Did he have a plan?
So what he was doing is he was having he was basically hiring kids to I'm saying teenagers and stuff, they were digging ditches and trenches and stuff in this crawl space underneath there, and then he would literally put the bodies in there with lime and whatever to try to cover the smell and start the process and cover it up. And he had kids doing that all the time, to where the ones that didn't end up in the crawl spaces themselves were we didn't really think anything of it. It just smelled really bad.
Well, if it
the
works,
crawl space eventually filled up.
Well, if it works for a Corona. Oh, we got 40. We had 40 fucking minutes of this.
This grim topic. I love this CPG. I really do. What happened to the chicken? So he lost this KFC franchise eventually.
Oh yeah.
Can I still eat at this KFC? Where is it?
Is it still standing?
Yeah, probably not. I don't know that for sure, but I don't think that if it is, they're not advertising it. I'll tell you that. It's not like they've got a pogo fucking Colonel Sanders. Hey, this is the one that John Wayne Gacy worked at. But
the Fire Festival guy got in trouble from the Bahamian government for saying that this was Pablo Escobar's island or something, and they were like, don't publicize that, man. We're not proud of that. Same kind of thing. I mean, hey, anything is possible under capitalism. We could have.
That's true.
If they wanted to reopen that KFC, they could make a killing.
There would be people that would go to it and go to it specifically for that reason.
You would do it.
No,
you wouldn't do it. You're all into this true crime shit. You don't want to go visit John Wayne Gacy's KFC?
No, because I knew that if they built it, yes, but if they built it and they're like, this is on the site of the original KFC, it's still not the original KFC.
Yeah, I think people would still show up though.
I think they would too.
Not a big KFC guy. I know it's hard to, but I know.
Well, it's towards the bottom of the fast food chicken for sure. But in a pinch, I'll take. And also, anytime they want to bring the double down back around, I'm all about it.
I was gonna say they could just label everything on their menu. Try the Gacy double down.
Oh my god!
Fuck.
That's probably a thing. Someone out there has probably been like,
John Wayne Gacy's
but to get that recipe, you're gonna need a VPN, the Tor browser, and
Look, we are not laughing at the victims of serial killers. That is not what this is about. That's not funny.
No.
Just, the situation surrounding it is fucking crazy. But now,
so I'm glad that we're not monetized. Go ahead, Sam.
Now, CPG, there are theories out there that Gacy did not act alone, correct?
Yes, there are. Yeah. There's speculation that he had help. There are other serial killers that did things very similar to him, like Dean Corll being one of them. He's an absolute lunatic. I believe he might even still be alive. That had people that were helping him. It's very, very likely that there probably was someone that probably knew what he was doing, but didn't want to cross him in fear of ending up in the crawl space themselves. I think that's really that's a viable theory. Considering that, a lot of the victims, especially the ones that are unidentified, that's when they start becoming transient people and stuff like that. And the ones that have been identified it was literally because they weren't from here. If they were runaways and stuff like that. It was people that, they were basically less than dead. Oh God.
Steve, is that the one you went to?
There's two. I'm having joke paralysis.
They didn't. Unfortunately, some of those young men didn't live long enough to be guys. They were fortunately perished before then. But yeah, I do think it's a viable theory that there was more than one person. It's the sheer volume of what was going on in his crawl space and him sort of the method in which he procured people. It lends credence to the theory for sure.
The helper theory.
Yeah.
Well, this was just in a fucking neighborhood, right? People saw kids enter and not leave. So
yeah,
he would think.
And that's the problem, is that people like this, and then it goes for a lot of different people who are these serial killers or these habitual criminals and stuff, is that he kept himself surrounded by young men because he had his construction company. So he would hire out these kids straight out of high school or in high school and stuff to work labor and do it cheaply, and he had a really good reputation. So having young men around his house was not something that was out of the ordinary. So no one really questioned it. Yeah, there was, sometimes I'm sure on more than one occasion, there was probably, ones that did leave that were probably all drunk and messed up, and people just kind of, bat an eye at it as in, hey, they went out and did a good, job, and John let him drink for a bit and then he let him go, let him go home. And that, obviously today would be huge red flags. But it's the 70s, man.
Yeah, nothing mattered back then.
Not as much surveillance, back then as there is now. We got a fan question here. It's kind of a long thing, but about Gacy's last meal.
Yeah, so that's true. He had a dozen deep fried shrimp, a bucket of KFC's originals, French fries, and a pound of strawberries, and a bottle of Diet Coke, because obviously you need to watch your figure at the end of your life like that. But that's what he wanted, and that's what he ate. There's a really cool
A pound is a lot of strawberries.
That's a lot of fucking strawberries.
You couldn't do like mixed fruit, throw some pineapple, kiwi in there.
No.
I don't think he's a pineapple guy.
A pound of strawberries and then Diet Coke. That doesn't work for me. Would you let him know? That doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I mean,
any of you in hell right now.
I'm about to call John. No,
thanks.
It is a strange like mix of stuff. It tells you he really likes KFC. I'll tell you that because my last meal wouldn't have been KFC.
Well, he really likes KFC, or it's one of those kind of like Stockholm syndrome, like he worked at KFC for so long. It's just like, this is what I'm craving.
Yeah.
I mean, I ran a Five Guys for a few years out of high school, and I mean, I hardly ever go there because I ate it every day for free, so it lost all value. And I mean, what they charge is absolutely fucking absurd. But it definitely, once in a blue moon, it's like, yeah, I got that itch for, to have that nostalgia burger and fries and whatnot, and we got to make that happen, even if it is $26 fucking for a burger and fries and a drink, whatever they're robbing people for now, and it's not even that good. It's fine. The fries are so easy to fuck up. And unless you have someone back there that really knows what they're doing, the fries are just not very good. And they give you a lot of them. It doesn't matter if they suck.
Yeah, they're gonna leak on your table the whole time.
Yeah, so it's just whatever.
So how would you rate that last meal? Let's just say on a scale of 1 to 10.
Man, that's a lot of food. I mean, you've got. No. Oh yeah, you do. You do kind of have every food group represented, though. You got, the only thing he doesn't have is he didn't have any dairy in there.
Yeah. Well, there's dairy in the batter, I suppose. There's fried shrimp and fried chicken.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's a lot, and a lot of things I don't particularly care for in one thing. So I'm just probably like a 5. It's just not what I would pick.
That's an odd. All right, what would you pick?
Oh God, if I had to eat like my last meal ever,
if you were John Wayne Gacy,
well, I tell you, I'd get out of prison. I'd be more worried about that than my last meal. My last meal would probably be like a really big steak and something green, and then like a really big milkshake because I can't drink milkshakes without getting horrible stomach problems. So that way, when I blow,
you're gonna blow.
It's gonna be a mess.
It's gonna be earned.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, I mean, that takes us to Yumper here saying, Gacy's last words were "kiss my ass" when he was.
That's 100% true. Yeah.
So I mean, if you drank a giant milkshake and then said "kiss my ass," were executed and shit yourself very aggressively.
That's honestly
hell of a way to go.
That's pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty hard.
That's hard.
Yeah. Going out saying "kiss my ass." Was this electric chair or?
No, he got lethal injection.
Lethal injection.
Oh, that's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah, bring back the electric chair.
I think there's got to be a state that still does it.
Probably Florida because
Yeah.
Anything goes.
Yeah. Probably Texas too.
Yeah, Texas was very famous for using that.
A
little too much.
Yeah, and I'm sure there are bills in both of those states to like go back to hanging, and because there's other places in the country that are like going forward, and then there's those places that are intentionally going backwards in time. Anyway, what did I ask do we have a victim count? Did I ask this already?
Victim count. I don't know that off the top of my head, but I can tell you.
Can you show us?
Right this way.
Take us to the crawl space.
I can't tell you, but I can show you.
Yeah. We're in the house right now.
The crawl space is inside the house.
His house got like demolished. Like it is the city, like obviously they demolished the property and they split the property between the two people who run either side of him.
There you go, Stoop. There's your states that still have the electric chair.
Yeah, no surprises there.
No Texas, though.
Yeah, a little surprised no Texas, I guess. But it's probably because they can't afford the electricity.
So there you go. Gacy murdered at least 33 young men and boys, 26 who he buried in the crawl space of his house. I believe there was like a couple in his backyard underneath like a bump where he built a barbecue. So this dude was entertaining people, and he's doing like, I just like to imagine him doing hibachi in the clown outfit because it's funny.
Sure.
And
Sure.
then underneath where he built the supports for his barbecue, there's just dead people.
Yeah, and you like imagining that part too.
Yeah, and everybody's out there having a good time and eating on John's dime, and there's literally decomposing people underneath this fucking barbecue.
Yeah, sick.
John, your lawn looks great. What do you eat?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I wonder, like, because we eat such garbage, would we even be good fertilizer? Or because I know, like, for instance, like, you can use cow shit and chicken shit to like fertilize your garden, but you can't use dog shit, right? That doesn't fertilize your yard because they eat the garbage we feed them. And like, you can't, unless you like eat really clean and eat organic and stuff, you can't use human shit for fertilizer either, right? So what about the entire human body? Do you think how's that going to color the lawn?
Brown.
I don't. I mean, you can, like, when you decide what you want to do with your mass when you're dead, you can
eat it.
You can get while you're dead. Eat yourself while you're dead.
You eat it.
You eat it.
Oh, my last dying wish is that I want you to come over here and I want you to cut off a piece of me and eat it.
That's somebody's thing.
But no, you can like have yourself wrapped around like a young tree and be the fertilizer for it. So I imagine it can't be like terrible. I mean,
and then do they just kind of break your bones and just kind of tie you in? And
yeah, you're like you're like
bag?
hugging around the roots of the tree are, and then it'll eventually just like grow through you.
Right, and then you just but I'm saying you kind of like you tie like a garbage bag knot, but with your hands and feet, like
something
one of those.
There's no way I'm going out a tree hugger. Ain't no way.
I think that's like built into the whole thing of like, if you're gonna be a vegan, this is how you're gonna be prepared.
Yeah, I mean, vegans would be better fertilizer for sure, though.
Yeah, they got nothing. I mean, I don't know that they're already like sickly and gray most of the time because they don't get any like anything other than because they just eat nothing but hay and glutens.
Yes, people in the comments angrily typing, "I love my hay." you just don't know how to cook the hay.
You don't know how to dress it up.
Yeah,
follow me for more hay recipes.
You're just not doing it right. Hay can be very flavorful, and it's actually even more nutritious than steak.
That's when you pull their human head off, and it's just a rabbit head at the section of regular broad human shoulders, and it's like, we have fucking found you.
Yeah, are we sure none of the kids that John Wayne Gacy killed are actually not rabbits?
They're young.
No, they were very much young men,
human people.
Human people.
That's too bad.
Human people.
It's a real shame. Real knucklehead, that guy.
Yeah, what a fucking joker that guy is, huh?
Yeah.
But
that's pun intended with the makeup clown. Oh shit.
He he would basically have these kids work for him, and then he would take them back to his place and kind of either liquor them up or whatever, and then he would talk about wrestling or a magic trick where they inescapable handcuffs or basically like that, and he would put a handcuffs on. He'd say like, "Here, look how easy I can just get out of them." Put him behind his back. He gets out. He puts them on these unfortunate people, and then he just gets right to suffocating them. And then before that, there's usually some sort of not great things that happen.
Yikes.
Yeah.
It's a good topic you brought to us, man.
Hey, it was 50-50. It was gonna I'm not gonna bore. I wasn't gonna to put you through the hell, which would have been all the professional wrestling that you don't want to hear about. So I'll let someone else be that.
Oh, person. I would have had a lot of fun with that.
I would have had very much fun with that.
But you wouldn't, so that's okay.
We want you to have fun.
This is about you.
We want you to talk about dead kids,
dead children in the crawl space.
Feel happy about
it. KFC and fucking prison.
Liquor. I hardly know her.
Hey.
I kill myself after this.
Yeah, Marge. There is a lot. There was a documentary that came out a couple of years ago. It only ran for like one season, or it was an investigative show on A&E where a guy actually. There are quite a few unidentified victims to this day, and he made it his like kind of mission to go find some of them. It was an interesting thing because you get to see the whole investigation. They talk about his mother's apartment building or house or whichever, and how they think that there might have been people there because they think that he might have started killing people as early as back then. And they were able to identify, I believe, like 2 of the final 8, I think, like that through that series. But then they just hit. By then, like I said, you're hitting the transient people and stuff. Like he was picking up like sex workers and stuff at Lower Wacker Drive and stuff like that pretty regularly. So it's, speculated, of course, that it could have been, just the less than dead, gay prostitutes and things like that.
And Lower Wacker, is that where you find those? Or
get in your time machine and go back to the 70s and you may find a whole bunch of them.
Build time machine.
Maybe that's why they call it Whacker. It's terrible. This sucks. Just Sam, help. Nice pussy, by the way.
Yeah, beautiful black pussy. Yeah. So did he have like so he was obviously Pogo the Clown, but did he have like just like a van of saying like Pogo the Clown for hire, or was it like a company name, or like he was just like part of a company, or was it his own like word of mouth thing?
No, he had a a van that had his construction company name on it, and then he would drive around his car. I think the Pogo thing was just something that he liked clowning, but like didn't understand it. And didn't understand it in the way that, to make it look non-threatening. It was just something that, he wanted to, he very, very much deeply wanted to be involved in like community politics and stuff. And he was doing fairly well with that, but he had the double life doesn't work, especially for a politician in the 70s who was like really gay and like it didn't, and it definitely wasn't something.
Really
gay.
I mean, say what you want about him. He was really gay.
I mean, both of his wives were just like
really gay.
They're like, something was going on, like from the very beginning. I mean, he went to his first event, like stint in jail was for sodomy and stuff of I believe a young man or something like that, and that's what put him in jail. And then he was there. He excelled in the culinary program and whatever jail that he was in. It ruined his first marriage. I believe that's how he lost to KFC, if I remember correctly. I could not be.
I want to highlight this comment. So he did Pogo as a charitable venture. I also got charity from a Pogo thing. I had a Pogo stick shoved into me and, had to get a GoFundMe to pay for my surgery bills. So me and John Wayne Gacy, same Venn diagram kind of thing. Pogo.
You guys are the cut from the same cloth,
That brings me to something else. I don't know, probably around 2009. I had said something.
That's when you killed your first victim.
That's when that was when I first, decided I wanted to do this. I put something on the internet that said, I kind of feel bad that you can put John Wayne Gacy and Heath Ledger in the same conversation. Both had clown makeup and both had homosexual relations.
God, that's awful.
I was like, that's not good that I put that on the internet.
And now it's on the internet again.
But I'm not hiding from it. Caitlin has a question. Did his wife ever find any of the bodies?
No. Like all the interviews they ever had with his wife, which I believe are like very far and few in between, are all been like, it just smelled really bad. And it got to the point where it was like, we need to move or something. He would always say that there was a raccoon underneath the crawl space or a skunk or, whatever, to make an excuse for why it smelled so bad. I mean, when the police finally got into his house, Yep. Yeah. The first marriage was ended because of the sodomy of the 16-year-old boy, and he went to prison. The they said going into the house, you just get punched in the face with like the smell of death. Like there was no hiding it anymore. He had so many. I mean, he was like, you ever seen that meme? Remember that meme that ran through the internet like 10 years ago, where it was a car and the guy would slap the hood and be like, "You can fit so many blah 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 in this bad boy." There were so many children in John Wayne Gacy's like crawl space that there could be a salesman who could slap that and say you could fit so many young men and boys in this bad boy. Like there's just they were stacked on top of each other. It was like a KFC double down of death in that fucking crawl space, and he couldn't hide the smell anymore.
That's a fucked up kind of Tetris.
Dead human Tetris.
I want you to. I didn't want to interrupt that, but I want you to highlight Dougie's comment one more time, because that wins. That wins it. That wins it for me. That wins it for me. We were on the golf course a few weekends ago, and we got paired up with a couple of guys from Cincinnati. And I'm thinking there's no way anyone can stand that shit. So the first thing out of my mouth was like, man, that Skyline chili fucking sucked. And they were like offended. They're like, what do you mean, man? It's so good. It's the best. I used to work at Skyline chili, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my God.
The regional delicacy.
I'm like, why is there cinnamon in it? There's cinnamon and ground beef are not things that you want together.
No.
Stop it. Cincinnati. Stop it. Stop it right now. You stop that.
I feel like if you eat enough of Skyline chili, you just turn into whatever the hell Gary Busey's been on. Like it's like your brain. It's got to affect your brain at some point. It has to. Rock's got it on like a mini hot dog thing or whatever. I think her and Brian split it, and I took a whiff of it, and I was like, "Fuck no."
Well, there was also the like full cup of unmelted shredded cheddar cheese. just straight out the fucking bag, not melted, not anything, just like a fist-sized lump of just cold shredded cheese. And I got a chili dog, and the dog, it was just all of it was so bad.
To our Cincinnati viewers, fuck Skyline chili.
What the fuck? I mean, the dog had no taste to it. All I'm tasting is the fucking cinnamon. What? Oh.
Cinnamon and cheddar cheese, and just
I don't know what it says about me that this is the strongest reaction I've had on a show about a serial killer. But
what makes your skin crawl more, John Wayne Gacy's bodies or Skyline?
Clearly, I mean, I've clearly answered that already.
Well, Andrew, this goes to your point about slapping the thing, saying,
yeah.
26 young men down here.
Jesus Christ.
Is that in the notes on like the listing for that old house? I mean, I know it's demolished.
No, it's gone. It's gone. It's gone. And they probably
is it just a shrine now?
No, God.
They probably picked out. They got all the bodies out of there, and they put a new thing there. And
now it's a dog park.
Oh man. Where'd you get that stick? Why is it white and shaped like a wishbone? There's like the I believe the property, like what one of the people wound up doing is they did that shit where they put the garage like behind your property where you don't have an alley, because I don't think they have like alleys like that there. And it's just this really big like space in between the two houses, and they just divided up like the
so the neighbors came up in this.
Yeah, they did. Yeah,
they did what?
Good for the neighbors.
Yeah.
What did the neighbors do in this house?
They had a come up.
They had their come up in this house.
That's right. Well, never mind. Yeah. Shit.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
gotta think of a question.
Was his like? Did they ever like detail? I know you like kind of went into it like he would put the handcuffs on him as like a trick stuff. But was that like his main thing, or did he do it in all different variations?
Oh, it was mostly you know, he would either drug him or get him hammered, and there'd either be like they would, you know, I used to be a wrestler in high school and blah blah whatever, and they would do their thing, and he would wind up getting like physical control of them, and then the handcuffs would come on, the handcuff trick. He basically took like a tourniquet, like it was the same function, and he put it around their necks. He would just tighten it and tighten it and tighten it and tighten it until they were gone. And you know, that's after some of the probably more horrific things he did with the nasty equipment that got recovered from there. I don't even know how to describe the size of that fucking thing they pulled out of his house. Yeah, handcuffs were his jam, that's for sure. Like, you know, he had like, and I didn't really understand this until I watched like the last documentary they made about him that was on Netflix, and they were showing like the, you know, some of the equipment that he had in his house that he was using during this. And I'm like, just a fucking wooden hammer dildo and some kind of weird ass shit. God, you're driving me nuts, dude. Come here.
Yar.
But yeah, it's really gross, and like and just it the last documentary that I think Netflix did on him, they actually really like, hey, this isn't like a funny thing. This is like really dark and like really, really, really terrible what happened to these people. And then there are some people who had encounters with him who he never did anything to or tried to, and it was so early on that they thought that he was maybe experimenting with stuff before he got to the point of killing people. And they're like, if I would have just said something, but they were afraid of his, they were afraid of his, you know, at the time, good like social standing in the community of if you would speak out against him, that he would just crush you. And there's one guy that's like, if I just would have said something, I could have prevented, you know, could have helped prevent 33 people from getting killed, you know. So it is nuts.
How did he eventually get caught?
It was through a series of different things. He was surveillanced quite a bit, and then he went and you know, they were watching him go to Lower Wacker Drive. He just drive around and all that sort of stuff, just to really honestly try to throw the cops off. He would befriend all of them. He would go to a bar. They would follow him. He'd buy drinks for them, and then they'd leave. Like, he knew he was being tailed. So I think like sooner or later, after he was a suspect and after they realized that like while they were surveillancing him, nobody was going missing. Nobody was anything. No one was being at least like reported, that, you know, there must have been something there. And then he confessed to his lawyer, and then it's like, you're done. Mm-hmm. You know? And then once they had him, that was pretty much it.
Yeah, I think I remember like either hearing somebody talk about or reading that he was like one of those who wanted to be like involved in the investigation, like trying to help cops out and stuff, like telling them things that he sees to try to throw him off his trail. And I think they use that as like a profiling thing now in like FBI and CIA stuff for, you know, serial killers and stuff.
Ruining the fun for the rest of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Ed Kemper did the same thing. The co-ed killer, he was, you know, friends with all the police because he was just a big oaf, and no one really thought anything of it. And then he did a lot of terrible things. I think with Gacy too is, you know, don't come in my house. Oh, there's the stench that's in the house. I believe they might have found someone's personal effect where they were like, why is this in here? And then that was like enough for them to start surveillancing him. And then that's what kind of like led to him eventually confessing and getting caught.
Yeah, and you know, like Dexter, he worked for the police.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's the safest way. It's even better than cooperating with the investigation. Just work for the police department.
Work for the police, get in the lab.
Be the blood specialist guy. And no one finds it weird when you have an erection at every single crime scene. Right?
Is that a plot point of that show? I don't know.
I mean, I think it was pretty heavily implied at multiple points. By the way, if you go back and watch that show as like a fully grown human, that show is fucking trash. Was
that the Dark Passenger when he's just like, I'm riding along with my dark passenger?
Yeah,
it's just literally his erect penis driving around with him.
Pretty much, yeah.
My dark passenger is ready to go.
I can't listen to my dog passenger forever. Harry told me how to handle my dog passenger. Like, or whatever his fucking dad's name was. I helped Boyd Fowler out of his car and into a Dodge. That's what I think of every time I hear his voice in those. He was doing like Dodge commercials.
Yeah, the Dodge commercials. Yeah.
And it's just, I found my next victim, and they're getting a Ford Fiesta. You know, like fucking think about. It's like
I pulled up in my Dodge Ram. I surveilled them for months.
Yeah. You say they're getting a Ford Fiesta. I like to, he's like halfway between John Wayne Gacy and Oprah. Then
you're gonna die, but you're getting a car first.
The perfect kill and the perfect ride for this holiday season, Toyota Fest.
Yeah, I do love chicken. I do. The thing I'm taking away from this conversation is I need to go get some chicken.
If there's anything you take away from this episode, KFC is very delicious.
It is good. It is good.
It's delicious enough where someone will order it as their last meal before they're fucking killed by lethal injection.
That is very true.
But at least he had the pound of strawberries in there for a little health there towards the end, and the Diet Coke, of course.
Do you think he ate those in like sequential order? Do you think he like one of each thing as he went?
Oh, I don't know. He might have been one of those guys that like took the chicken skin off, put the strawberries in there with the French fries. Maybe dunked into the Diet Coke and then just tried to swallow it all. Either that, or he might have been one of those people that can just put the whole chicken leg in their mouth and pull out just the dry bone.
Yeah, well, one of those things is significantly less disturbing than the other.
Yeah,
the chicken skin like wrap is fucking me up right now.
Pretty gross, right?
Skin wrap.
That's pretty crazy.
It's like the pandemic. If you fell down like the hole of TikTok of people who eat weird shit, you'd see all kinds of shit like that, and I'd be like, I gotta get off this app, man.
Yeah.
Stoop. What would be your final meal if you had murdered a bunch of people in death row?
I mean, it'd have to be a cheeseburger of some description. I think. I don't know. Like surf and turf. Part of me would want to be like, let me get the most expensive thing, and just burden the taxpayer one final time. So like surf and turf and not even eat all of it. Like that would be, that'd be kind of a flex.
Have eat like everything.
Yeah, like some nice garlic mashed and just like take a couple bites of it, let them get cold.
Make him spend all this money and then not eat it.
Like one of those like crazy desserts at the restaurants where they do like gold flake and shit on it.
Mm-hmm.
You want the salt guy to come in and
Yeah.
I want every famous chef in the world to be in the room surrounding me, making me a dish. And
just shit on him the whole time. Just shit on him as you eat it.
I mean, what'd be really sick is if you could have drugs for your last meal. You know what I mean? Like,
I just want
give me just the biggest line of cocaine and a shot of heroin, and let's do this.
Fuck you! You're not killing me. I'm ODing first.
Yeah, I mean, let's at least have some fun. Yeah, but probably a fucking cheeseburger. I don't know from where. Probably the local place here where I'm at. I'm a simple man. Charred burger, Merck's cheddar on it, the fixins. I'm a happy man.
They cap you now? What the hell's the point of killing a bunch of people if you're just capped now?
Yeah,
such a waste, man.
And that's the only reason I'm doing it.
That's why you got to save all your White Castle coupons. So when you're about to die, you could be like, "Hey, look at this."
You're going to be on extreme couponing and a serial document.
Yeah.
Now this is big brain time, right? Because I'm thinking like he did KFC. You just mentioned White Castle. Like, what about locking down a brand deal for your last meal, but being like, okay, the money from this goes to my kids or my family or whoever, I'm sure you could find companies that would take you up on that, because it's like as soon as you're dead, they can just deny that happened, that they worked out a deal with you or whatever. But you could be like, look, I will eat a fucking crave case from White Castle, and I'll make sure we're getting your brand out there. right? And then you know they do what they're doing, and you're dead, but your family gets the money from because you basically just did free advertising for them.
Yeah,
that's that's my new strategy now.
An interesting thing about that is that in case he was killed, that was a pay-per-view event. You could actually buy it and watch it happen. So like just
That's
like how
pretty
you
sick.
could go to like I remember my buddy's mom telling us that like she was like, oh, I watched that shit on TV, and I was like, holy shit! Like you didn't watch him like convulse and fucking die on the table, but they, you know, they showed them all, you know, on his fucking thing, and then they pulled the curtain and they're like, hey, dude, he's dead, and they pulled it back and he's dead, and that's
Well, then I don't believe you that he's dead.
he's very dead.
How would money go to victims if they're dead?
That's a good question.
There
just bury it with
was the guy that killed somebody, and you know, through jail and therapy, felt really bad about it, which is cool, I guess. And then,
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm really sorry that I snuffed out your daughter's flame, but what I'm gonna do is donate my body to science.
like, and that's what he really tried to do. He was like, "Oh, just donate my organs so other people can live." And then, like, her family, the woman's family, was like, "Fuck no, you're gonna die, dude."
I want someone to have my heart because it's in a good place now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, anywhere in the chest cavity is the good place, I think.
Thank you for ruining that joke.
You're welcome. That's what I'm here for.
Jesus, not you.
Now, CPG, are you a proponent of the death penalty generally?
I think that if you like murder children and like do terrible things to children, you should probably die very slowly and very just that's probably like anything with kids, like any of that sort of stuff. You can pretty much die. I don't really feel each way about it. If you murder somebody because you're a fucking psychopath and you got like brain wires that are all fucked up, then you know maybe prison will give you some sort of therapy and medication and get you right, and you don't necessarily have to die. You're going to be in prison the whole rest of your life. Cognitive people that do really shitty things like this for whatever reason, go ahead.
Now, I guess that there's a couple different counter arguments to that. The first of which is, do we truly consider death a punishment, right? And would it be more of a punishment to just force him to exist for the rest of his days in, you know, solitary confinement or something?
If somebody is like, yeah, dude, kill me, fucking put, then that's when you don't do it. That's when you're like, man, you're gonna probably have to watch like every season of Grounded for life in solitary confinement until your fucking brain explodes. You know, but like there's like, I don't know. It's
make him watch Dexter.
Yeah.
Just the final
like,
season.
Just watch one season of Sons of Anarchy over and over again, but not one that has where you have to watch the ones beforehand, because that show's dog shit too, and it would drive people absolutely insane. Like, or just stick them in a room with like fucking max headroom to their eyeballs fall out of their head. Just something strange. I don't know. It's really hard. It's a really hard question to answer. Unless like if it's kids though, God, die, dude. Just die the worst death.
Yeah, that's this show. We ask the tough questions. That's what we do here. Thought-provoking and deep.
We are very, very deep.
I
have something to actually share. This is my favorite thing that I've ever seen about serial killers.
Oh, Jesus.
All right, listen, you mugs. It's now 11:30. That means we only have 20 minutes to bake a new Ferrari cake.
No problem. It just so happens I went to an Italian cooking school.
Yeah, why'd you quit?
There weren't enough Italians to eat. Oh!
Get over here. All right, what's the recipe call for first?
10,000 eggs.
Casey, go get 10,000 eggs. You get them. Shut up. Oh, wise guy, eh? What's that?
Hey, leave him alone.
Ah!
Yeah.
Try that again.
Yeah.
What happened?
Oh, God.
That's good old cartoon violence. We love it.
Good old-fashioned South Park.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
I'm not getting sued. I shared it from his own website.
And that's the kind of highbrow intellectual content you can expect here.
Yeah, I don't get the whole like why people sit on death row for so long either. Like Caitlin was saying, like, if you get, penalized with, the death penalty, why are they waiting so goddamn long?
Well, if you want to know the serious answer, it's
No.
Okay, I won't. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
You're right. I'll save it. I don't need to do this. That's not what this is for.
It's not?
No. It's for me to think about fried chicken.
You don't want to think about how prison is a business, and that's why people are kept alive for so long.
Well, yeah. It takes so long to actually execute a death warrant because we frequently put the wrong people on death row. Frequently. That's why. That's why it takes so long. Everyone's if that's the very simple answer to the question, why do people sit on death row for 10, 12, 15 years? It's because we want to make sure we got the right guy. And we still fuck that up a lot of the time.
See, I'm incredibly pro death penalty. If you even get a parking ticket, death penalty.
Kill him.
Get him.
Yeah.
Get rid of him. We don't need that scum on this earth anymore.
Yeah, it's the strongest argument against the death penalty is that like we get it wrong a lot, too much. Some might say. Some might say that.
Yeah, that's absolutely terrifying.
Yeah, it's not great, and it follows logically if you understand anything about the criminal justice system in these United States. None of it is correct at all. It's all bad. It's all dog shit.
Since when?
I know. I couldn't believe it when I found out either.
I just
found out this morning, actually.
You watch, obviously it's not 100% accurate. It's very, very loosely based off as, like you see movies and TV.
Story?
Yes. You watch TV shows and movies about, serial killers and stuff. And, back in the 60s and 70s, you really have nothing to go off of other than like, oh, I saw this guy doing this at this time. Maybe. But it was also always dark when it happened. So how am I supposed to know who it really was?
Yep.
Yeah, and you got quite a few crazy people out there confessing the stuff they didn't do. I mean, there's
all the time,
because they want to be somewhere in like that they're taken care of.
Yeah. And then you got and then you got someone that's like, hey, they just they just copped out to like the Ralph Elliott murder or whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, and they're like, yeah, but they also confessed to killing like Abraham Lincoln and like something else, and then it literally happens all the time, and then these leads go short. I mean, also
all ready for a bombshell. It wasn't John Wilkes Booth. It was me.
Now get me a pound of strawberries and a bunch of KFC, please.
Please and
ding, ding, ding.
Please and thank you. Not a rude serial killer.
But it's like,
I'm a very nice one.
It's the reason why we don't have serial killers today in most of the
TikTok
of the 60s and 70s is because it's
forensics
exists and it's really easy to get caught doing literally anything.
No, it's because of big media, TikTok, Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's why.
It's all Jesse Ventura's fault.
Joe Rogan's actually out there rounding up every serial killer.
I mean, we do have one of the biggest serial killers out there right now, and nobody's caught him, and that's Garth Brooks. So, I mean, somebody's got to get him. Somebody's got to get that man down. I don't know what's going on.
We're working on it. Trust me. The FBI.
Where are the bodies, G?
We're gonna find out.
Families need closure, man.
Do you think that the reason why he hasn't been caught is because he didn't do it, but Chris Gaines did?
That could be. That was his dark period.
Dark alter ego.
If he brings Chris Gaines back, there's a lot more evidence that's gonna come out very shortly. It's like, no, that fingerprint belongs to Garth Brooks. I'm Chris Gaines.
Yeah, I'm Chris Gaines now. I'm serious.
And that's why he did it.
That is exactly why he did it.
Yeah.
I remember seeing the picture of Chris Gaines for the first time and being like, what happened to Trent Reznor? Why is he fat? And I was like, oh, shit, it's Brooks.
Oh.
Andrew, is there anything else you want to leave us with about John Wayne Gacy before we get out of here?
Don't do anything he did. Just don't. If you're thinking about it, just don't.
Not even own a KFC.
And that's a PSA from the All Sports Scene YouTube channel. Don't do what John Wayne Gacy did.
Don't. Look at me. Don't do it.
I really looked at you when you said that. It was very powerful.
Even if you're offered a KFC general manager job, don't take it.
Yeah, don't wrestle people over handcuffs. No one's magic trick is innocent. That means even if you go and have a professional magician, don't have one in your home.
Don't let magicians into your home. If you take anything away from this, don't let magicians into your home.
Don't let anybody with handcuffs near your children.
That too.
Even police. Keep them away from your kids.
Especially police.
Yeah, pretty much especially police.
Well, this is a cheery episode.
Yeah, this was just probably the most upbeat episode.
It'd be a tough act to follow, I'm sure.
Oh, I'm sure our next guest will have a very easy time. Andrew, is there anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Just watch Playback with me and Brian hanging out watching wrestling pretty much every other Wednesday, watching AEW Dynamite. It's now CM Punk free, which means everybody that was cheering for him to win about a year and a half ago is now happy he's gone. So tune in. He won't be there.
He came into my Five Guys, and I didn't know who he was.
I don't know what any of that meant that he said, but I do enjoy hopping into their playbacks and saying things that I see, which are just...
you know I'll be there for every second of the hot action.
Hot shirtless man-on-man action.
Can't get enough of it.
Stoopy probably liked the Acclaimed.
Actually, there was one guy wearing jeans one time, and I was very confused how he was doing that.
At a metalcore band?
No, it's a trio. It's a trio now because Billy Gunn's in it from the New Age Outlaws from the 90s. But yeah, I think you would actually really be genuinely entertained by them. They scissor all the time.
That is what I like. Just sack on sack contact, baby. That's what we're all about here.
Oh boy. Stoop, you want to plug anything before we get out?
Just those spaces, those trenches in my crawl space.
Hey, if you took anything away from it, just go to KFC.
Go get you a bunch of limes.
Yeah, get you a bunch of limes and some KFC stuff and make yourself a wrap.
God.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in, commenting along, having fun with us. CPG, thank you so much for joining us. If you guys haven't, read the stuff that we put out this week. We should have another article posted here tomorrow on this. The site is now theallsportscene.com. We have our own domain now because we're big and fancy. So follow the account if you haven't. Like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you also haven't already. And we will see you all in 2 weeks for this show, and we'll see you Thursday for AskCast. Goodbye.
God bless you.